From a book that teaches you how to build your own coffin, to another that teaches you how to shit in the woods. Yep, we take a look through 10 of the most ridiculous books that actually exist. Number 10. Do-it-yourself coffins. We'd like to say the weirdest thing about this book is its subject matter, but we can't. It's the people who read it and actually try to build their own coffins. DIY books can come in many odd flavors. Sure, people may want to craft a coffin for their little pet, but for old granny? Some folks may be interested in woodworking as a career, and it's really the only normal way to see this, but apparently the book sucks. Some measurements are missing, and some aren't even correct. By the time you actually figure it out and build it, you will probably end up needing it. Number 9. How to disappear completely. This supposed handbook, for those who really have something to hide, features sections dedicated to procuring new identification papers, finding a job, pseudocide, and more. But it is hard to take advice from an author who misspells the word disappear, not once, but 7 times. It's also unfortunately almost 20 years out of date. Avoiding paper trails are the least of a would-be disappearer's worries these days, with all the technology and such. Number 8. Dating for under $1. Don't be so quick to label buyers of this book a cheap date. Keep in mind that Dating for Under $1 was published over a decade ago in 1999. Adjusting for inflation, $1 then was equivalent to a whopping $1.30 today. That's more than enough to buy a candy bar or a small order of fast food fries, which sounds like a pretty nifty date if you ask me. A single dollar isn't quite equal to the selling price of Blair Tolman's book, but the extra few dollars would probably be worth it for 299 better frugal dating ideas. Number 7. Coloring Book of Vaginas. Coloring books may not be books per se, but this one is closer than others. There are puzzle activities to go along with the illustrations, so you can enjoy all sorts of vaginas for hours on end. Although customers rate it highly on Amazon, you can't help but think how ridiculous this book is, despite its categorization of erotica. The best review online saying, "In my mind, at least my private parts have progressed from the drab Middle Ages to a Technicolor age of Aquarius." Number 6. Treat your own neck. In the days before hypochondriacs could be satisfied by a quick WebMD search for symptoms like stiff elbow or sore ankles, Spinal Publications New Zealand Limited and physical therapist Robin McKenzie released a handy paperback guide to self-care for all neck-related problems. Reviews of the book range from highly recommend to a warning that some of the exercises might be quite harmful to those with pre-existing arthritis. Exercise caution when reading. Number 5. Stray shopping carts. So this book is actually pretty weird if you think about it. We can imagine wild herds of shopping carts grazing on parking lots. The author even went to the trouble of creating a classification system for abandoned shopping carts, accompanied by photographic documentation of actual stray cart sightings. This is another example of a highly rated book on this list, and although only 15 people or so have rated it, there's nothing below 4 stars. Number 4. Royal Knits. Forget trying to cop Duchess Kate Middleton's style with store-bought items. Instead, knit your own outfits worthy of Buckingham Palace. The book includes patterns for a yarn replica of the St. Edward's crown, as well as an original design for a pair of slippers that look like corgis, in a nod to the reigning monarch's preference for the Welsh herd dogs. A guardman's iconic bearskin hat, however, might be beyond the book's scope. Number 3. Bomb-proof your horse. Although it's true that horses spook easily, bomb-proofing sounds a bit drastic, don't you think? As if this book's techniques aren't enough for a worried horse owner, there's a sequel entitled Better Than Bomb-Proof: New Ways to Make Your Horse a Solid Citizen and Keep You Safe on the Ground, in the Arena, and on the Trail. Number 2. How to Avoid Huge Ships. Another one that might throw you for a loop. How to Avoid Huge Ships is just that, a book about how to avoid huge ships. So why would someone author a book like this? Apparently, an old captain was tired of running over fools in their pleasure boats and wanted to educate those same fools in a futile effort to save their lives, and felt it was time to enlighten the world. It just seems like such an obvious thing, though. We wonder if there's any books about how to not get run over by a car. Number 1. How to Shit in the Woods. Another popular book by many customer reviewers. How to Shit in the Woods isn't a joke, but it isn't completely serious either. You'd think that relieving yourself in the woods is one of the most basic of instincts that a book on the subject becomes unnecessary. But no. The book mainly goes into a few tips on how to be cleaner about going in the woods. But it's probably not worth your money or time. As one reviewer put it, perhaps it is intended to be used for wiping yourself after practicing some of the poorly described techniques within.